Hello, and welcome back to Coin Lady channel. Since XRP gained legal clarity in the United States, there has been a significant increase in institutional investment into the cryptocurrency, and we expect several of the larger companies to re-enter the market. At least one of them did. And there's another one that I think will, and it's the bigger, more relevant one in terms of the amount of XRP that we want and expect to flow into XRP. In any case, Bitwise is back, and you may recall that at the end of 2020, immediately after the SEC sued Ripple, effectively assaulting all XRP investors, Bitwise was like, well, we out, that was it. It's also tough to hold these entities responsible. We'd love to see it happen when more businesses are like Uphold and refuse to comply with the SEC because they have some real backbone. Still, I've been quite sympathetic to the companies out there that have temporarily ceased trading of XRP or delisted until there was some type of legal certainty. After all, who knows how much financial loss and attack they could suffer if the SEC comes after them. They have a fiduciary duty to consider what is in the best interests of their employees. But I've been saying for a long time that the floodgates will open once there's clarity in the law. And that is starting to materialize now. This is good news, and I feel compelled to share it. I'll fill you in on the details right now. But also, if you've seen what's happening with Binance, mass layoffs, including key executives, including the risk officer, their chief risk officer, and all kinds of people speculating that Binance is probably going to cease to exist because this really isn't looking good. So, I can't say for sure that's correct. However, I don't, since I lack any reliable sources of knowledge. I must warn you, though, this is really concerning. Whatever the case may be, I hope the best for them. Yet, this is really concerning. Yes, it's occurring. I attribute almost all of that to the SEC's assaults on it. Given the recent developments, it may be wise to reevaluate whether or not you want to store your cryptocurrency on an exchange entirely. And self-custody is something to think about if you do. But before we go any further, I should mention that I have zero experience in the financial sector. I'm not here to give you money advice. Furthermore, you should not make any financial decisions based on what I say. Just a hobbyist here that occasionally posts films to YouTube on various crypto-related topics. So, let's go through a few ground rules right now. This article was published on the CoinDesk on December 23, 2020. After being sued by the SEC, Ripple's XRP investment in Bitwise cryptocurrency index fund was liquidated the next day. Bitwise, a crypto asset manager, has sold $9.3 million worth of XRP and its crypto index fund in response to a lawsuit filed by the SEC against Ripple. The company took swift action after the SEC filed a lawsuit against Ripple Labs Incorporated, the purported developer of the coins, alleging that it had been selling them in violation of federal securities laws. An excerpt follows. On December 22, 2020, the firm sold an asset that made up about 3.8% of the fund's portfolio. The fund then liquidated its position in XRP and invested the profits from the sale in other portfolio assets. I've long maintained, so just so you know, that it's not the case. The Wise just wanted an excuse to dump XRP. They weren't trying to avoid the problem altogether, rather, they saw it as an opportunity to satisfy client demand for XRP holdings. That settled the matter, basically. That's why I said they'd revive it again someday. And there has been a flood of cash coming in. In this case, it's true. This headline may be found on the Nasdaq website. The asset value of XRP has increased by 127% thanks to the influx of institutional investors. Not the whole article, please. But now they have this point. In bullet form, which is the most important one in my opinion. Positive outcome and SEC versus Ripple litigation in 2023 sparked a 127% surge in institutional demand in XRP products. For the past few years, I've been stating that once XRP has legal clarity, the floodgates will open and I wouldn't do anything else related to the cryptocurrency. But just because we can see what happened now doesn't mean that we should have expected XRP's price to rocket to an all-time high the next day. However, since XRP is no longer restricted, ordinary people will not be reluctant to invest in it. Institutional investors have been very enthusiastic. You can be sure that as time goes on and more institutional-level entities get involved, they will donate, make sure that XRP is a portion of what they are holding. Undeniably, they will be able to, and I'm glad I did, because I haven't seen anything like in the crypto media till now. Frankie is to be thanked for tagging me, that's how I learned of this. On the other hand, he admitted in writing that this was in fact what transpired. One of his April 16 posts is being cited. In 2018, which is as follows. What we do know is that U.S. institutions will reload all their trusts and index funds once they get clarity, even new institutions who have been waiting. This includes Bitwise and Grayscale, which deleted XRP from all their index funds because of concerns. Really, that's a tremendous deal. He was totally correct. So, that's where things stand right now, and Frankie, he works in finance. In fact, he entered the crypto industry in 2011. That means he is up to speed and has a firm grasp of the subject matter. Since he is well versed in human nature, he anticipated this outcome. So far, this has been the evidence. And so, logically speaking, they have returned. And look, I've got their website up on this screen for you right now. That's the BYTW that represents this particular index fund on the stock market. I can simply scroll down to it here. Here's the rundown, and you can see that XRP has a 3.3% weighted percentage. Therefore, the proportion is lower than it was before they liquidated it, but not by a huge margin. From time to time, they alter the items for their own reasons. I know 3.3% doesn't sound like much, but they're doing what a lot of these companies are doing and putting a ton of weight behind Bitcoin and Ethereum. And, truth be told, if XRP hadn't been attacked for over 2.5 years, what that would be worth is anyone's guess. Do you mean 10% as an alternative? Or 20%? What would happen to XRP is anyone's guess. What about the new advancements and everything else? We have no idea. It's plausible to assume that the actual figure was far greater than 1%. Now, assets under management by this organization are in the hundreds of millions, which is clearly not enough. Yes, it's finally here. Therefore, they are responsible for $448 million in assets. Grayscale exists, however. The similar effect was achieved with Grayscale. After the dispute was resolved a few years ago, the Grayscale XRP Trust was dissolved and never heard from again. To date, it has not returned. I have no idea why it hasn't returned yet. In this case, though, it would be even more significant because the company manages approximately $22 billion in assets. As a result, this is a far bigger concern than it appears to be at first glance. Again, this is just one company out of many that could benefit from investing in this space. However, it is important to note that Grayscale has been communicating with the SEC in an effort to file a lawsuit against the agency and obtain approval for a Bitcoin exchange-traded fund (ETF). Since Frankie implied that this meant Bitwise was once again affiliated with XRP, I decided to write to him about it. Great to see XRP back in Bitwise Fund BTW, as I remarked before, and he tagged me and a few others on there. So I emailed him and said it was wonderful news. Now, I was thinking that and had even mentioned it on occasion in the past because I certainly have noticed that Grayscale has not added XRP, but I don't know why they wouldn't at some point in the future, and Frankie said it could be many things, but also could be simply focusing on GBTC conversion/SEC right now since they are in the middle of that, which is the most important item for Grayscale. From what I gather, this is a major development regarding the spot Bitcoin ETF. It's not like they suddenly became opposed to XRP and decided to eliminate it, but I have hope that it will return. No, they were not happy with the SEC just like nobody else was because of this tremendous overreach, and I honestly think it's coming back, but you can only imagine what this is going to mean by the time we hit the next euphoria stage in crypto, when markets really come roaring back. And that's going to be fun because XRP will properly participate this time, unlike the last market cycle, and that's alarming. I don't know if this portends trouble for Binance, but whenever something like this pops up, I take notice. I've seen this movie before, wherein the cryptocurrency exchanges experience a spate of negative press, and I've learned not to discount the possibility of a fire lurking beneath the surface. It seems more likely that they have been the target of a massive attack that has left them financially vulnerable. There have been widespread layoffs, but no one outside the company knows what that means for them. So, according to what they've told me so far, all assets are supported. But you already know the irrelevant part. It doesn't matter how much I trust an exchange to hold my cryptocurrency, I'm not going to leave it there. Since Cryptus is so unpredictable, I just wanted to point it up. If you had told me a year ago that FTX was a Ponzi scheme, I would have laughed in your face. Everyone there would have looked at you and laughed. One can turn a dial, come on. Just crazy. FTX, how ridiculous. That was only a year ago, too. So, don't discount an idea because of its outlandish tenor. But I'm not trying to scare anyone with these words. It's more like, I've got some news for you. Take it and run with it. I think it's wise to proceed with caution in most situations. As far as it goes, that's it. Nance, U.S. legal executive and top risk officer, has left the exchange, according to a recent report from the block. According to the Wall Street Journal, Binance US, the exchange is being led by Krishna Javadi, the head of legal, and Sydney Mochila, the chief risk officer, whose titles are causing concern among those familiar with the departures, head of legal and chief risk officer, respectively. They seem to be on their way out. Moreover, we are unaware of the specifics of this. Perhaps they were genuinely fired, but they are no longer present. Still, you'll be given a chief risk officer and a chief legal officer, both of whom have impressive titles. They have left. That's why everybody's freaking out. And this was after the already bad news about the status of the economy had spread. Yes, read on if you're interested. A third of the company's employees were let go just days after the head of financial department, Brian Schroeder, left the company. After a lawsuit by the SEC against Nance was launched in June, the exchange reduced its operations. Quote, "There will be real-world consequences for American jobs and creativity from the SEC's relentless attempts to damage our industry." This is a terrible illustration of that last quote. In any case, that was only a spokesman for the neighborhood reporting the news. I just wanted to make sure that it was referenced on my channel in a high-profile position, and now that I have, you can do with this information whatever you like, but I will not be holding any cryptocurrency on an exchange. He'll be familiar with Cryptus the Crazy Man, and this is the first time anything like this has been launched against Nance and I. I'm a customer of Binance, and so far it's been great working with them. I appreciated their stance. The user interface was nice. The solution is simple, and it works. I'm not keeping anything, though. There will be no takeaway on my part. However, be wary. Be careful only with yourself. That concludes my remarks. My expertise does not lie in the realm of finance. Nothing I say is good enough to warrant you treating yourself to something. Please like and subscribe my channel. See you later, bye.